Do you struggle to sell your clothing products quickly? How about at all? Well, it's not your fault, and if you're anything like the brands that I work with, you pour your heart into every design just to see it flop and leave you empty-handed. So today, I'm going to show you how to design and release products that your followers actually want to buy every single time. In fact, this is the second episode I'm releasing in a 5-part series where I'm challenging myself to build an actual clothing brand from nothing to prove that you can do it too. And to help make this a reality is my friend Casper, one of the co-founders of Mertra. Not only did their brand sell out on the first try, but also time and time again since, now having amassed over 400,000 Instagram followers. After exiting the company, Casper now coaches other brand owners to help them turn their fashion side hustle into a full-time business too. To give you the recap, last episode, Casper and I came up with the name Owl Loft, a brand inspiring people to make friends outside of work or school. We thought that each release could be based around a different fictional group of friends that meet in the real world, and that's why the first product campaign is going to be called the Kitchen Coffee Club. If you haven't seen the last episode, the link will be in the pinned comment below. But before we design the winning product itself, let me show you how to create a product mood board that aligns with your brand identity so you don't accidentally make something that your customers wouldn't wear.
Building on mood boarding and the visual elements further is going to kind of come really easy now that we've kind of laid the groundwork, if that makes sense.
For reference, this is the idea. We've got this cafe, we've got people meeting.
What I think is a really good way to go about mood boarding is there's a few different options. Like the number one most accessible and easy option to give you like crazy good resources is just like searching keywords. And by this is like you can search keywords directly on Google, on Pinterest, on Behance. You know, those are a few options. So,
lots of options.
yeah, but so for example, a keyword for me could be messy. I know that sounds random, but like looking at that thing, there could be a spill. You know, not everything's going to be
It's
perfect.
more like authentic.
Yeah, it's going to be authentic. So like something that's super authentic and is, you know, not just this crazy, you know, even in a third home, things can go wrong.
What kind of design concepts or methods come to mind with like messy, authentic? Like if we were to think line work or like paint or like what are we saying?
So I don't think what comes to mind with this brand particularly, like I don't think it should be perfect as you were saying.
Yeah.
And by that is like I don't think it should be like sharp edge graphics.
Super clean.
Yeah, because that kind of gives it a bit of like a techie vibe. So yeah, I think it should be kind of a bit rough.
Even like handwritten.
Yeah, hand drawn, almost sketch-like.
Sketch.
Perfect because it's imperfect. Another really important element for mood boarding is, for me, I see that photo and I see warmth in the colors, being the yellow and there's a red there. And I think if you search up warmth, you might get some really cool designs.
So the warmth, like keywords like that relates to what our color palette could be.
Yeah, so the visual elements when you're doing mood boarding, one, it can be the real world asset of where you want your brand to belong. It can be like, so that's the objects and places specifically. I think it ends up being like typography as well. And then you can actually just have the actual garments mood boarding and like inspiration as well. So like what type of clothing pieces, what's the placement of the design.
And I think that leads on to what we could be doing later on. If we were to go further with this, a really cool idea is for like, especially for type of garments, you could imagine on a cold day, like someone might want a rug or something, like especially like maybe in a cafe, but also maybe on a beach.
Yeah, like throwaway blanket.
Yeah, or even
like that in
just
the future.
Hoodies. That's a more simple.
I think cozy. Like that's a really like I see, as you were saying, maybe it's around a fireplace and that's like matching tracky set.
Yeah.
I see that being fleece in winter, like everyone's gathered on the beach, as you were saying. But obviously that's planning further ahead and just to kind of stay within our means because we are just launching.
Yeah.
I think let's work on a t-shirt and do like one design max.
Absolutely.
And just kind of go from that as like what we're going to be working towards.
Yes.
Seeing that, I immediately go like a cream, you know what I mean? An off-white because of that kind of yellow background with like the walls. So maybe that's something we can look to build, you know.
So having searched these keywords, Casper, I want to see some of the things you've come up with for the design concept and where we could take this t-shirt graphic.
So we've got, and it actually perfectly had a cafe in it. So I was like, this is getting like every stone that we worked on, which is super dope. But I really love how authentic the actual image is, right? It's just someone just going for it. It's super talented nonetheless, and it's still kind of clean. And then what I've got as well is, you know,
This is like a cleaner version of this, basically.
Yeah, it's a cleaner version, and it's also like zooming out a little bit further of what the setting could look like a bit more.
And something I like about these two is apart from the background, you've got one color and it's very focused on line work. So I think whatever we do...
I love the green in that.
Yeah, I love the green in this. I think we should keep that line work theme going on because it really relates to that hand-drawn element.
Yeah, I searched up like coffee, and with that keyword, it came up with the coffee club, which is, I thought, something that we could really, you know, serve daily. That's really good messaging. Obviously, I think it's important, even if you have a really good idea of probably what you're looking to create, and I was immediately drawn to this.
The thing I really like about this, on top of the line work, is it's a bit more surreal and it's a bit more fun, which I think is something that resonates with our target customer for this.
Yeah, I think it's cool with this as well. You can see a character. Again, another one, that hand-drawn coffee machine kind of element to it.
Only thing it's really missing is the people.
Yeah.
So, but although it kind of shows evidence of the fact that people are here,
yeah.
Especially if there were like 2 coffee cups, I think that could be really powerful.
A spilt cup, I think, would be dope. This one, I think, was my favorite immediately, so hence why I've kept it to last. But going off somewhat being clean enough, but still that messy and, you know, hand sketch vibe, I loved that kind of line work.
Perfect.
I'm not a graphic designer, so my phrasing probably of describing that photo is not going to be the best, but I think that out of them all is a really good, you know, that's my favorite. I think that's a banger.
I think it's important to know as well what we want to keep and what we want to lose of these images.
Yeah, I think it's important. We'll probably go back through these photos, right? Obviously, we have them printed out, but if you were mood boarding, like on our Figma or something like this, you just write pretty much like the ins and outs of what you're looking to create. What we should do is, as you were saying, line work there, but there's no character.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe we want to introduce a character, but that line works great. Whereas this one, immediately I go like, I love the idea, but it's too messy. So that's kind of maybe an X that we can put on it.
Yeah. I think this one, the thing we can take away from it, really like the green, like the cream. Only thing is just like zoomed out. This kind of scene here, this angle is quite similar. This one is a bit too far out to tell a story, but this one, it's close enough that it shows, we can see it's a cafe.
I like that. And then there's a character in this one.
Yeah.
Like I like the style of this one more.
Yes.
And I think that makes more sense, but the character, somehow maybe working a character involved there.
It's also almost like he's waiting for company because the spare chair even looks like, I don't know if that is, but it looks like there could be 2 coffees there.
Hard to say.
Hard to say. But it's a cool idea. There's a lot there.
You might watch this and say, these homely illustrations won't work for my brand. How do I create my own product mood board? And here is the easiest way to start. The first thing you're going to do is list 20 defining keywords that are directly related to your brand. So in our context, some of these words included safe, casual, coffee, familiar, warmth. The next thing you're going to do is open Pinterest. It's a really easy to use resource. It's completely free, and start mood boarding. Specifically, create 3 separate Pinterest boards that relate directly to your brand. The 3 boards I would look to create are font and graphic design, color palette, and visual cues and the lifestyle you're looking to create. And remember, save with intent. Don't save everything you see. Ask yourself the simple question of, would I see this in my brand lifestyle? Mood boarding isn't just about saving every single photo you see. It's a visual representation and direction of what you're looking to create. And remember, the best design concepts are developed from where you want to see it fit in the real world, not looking at trending products and everything like this and just saving for the sake of it. And remember, mood boarding is so important because what you're loving and what you're looking to create is going to develop over time. Mood boarding will essentially be a compass of the direction you're looking to create, and it's fine if this changes, so don't trap yourself in. And it's an amazing resource because you can see the development of the concept and the idea you're creating in real time. And when you're mood boarding, it's not about just the clothes, it's about emotions, it's about the environment that your brand's meant to fit in as well. So what we did with our mood boarding is, instead of just saving the products we were looking to create, you'll actually see it was the visual environments we wanted the brand to fit in more likely than not. Some examples of this were, you know, local coffee shops where people are just having good times. It's super chill, super casual, and that's where we want our brand to fit in. So now that we've built the mood board, let's turn these visuals into a real life garment.
So we've just done some mood boarding. I think we now should think about what we want on one of our t-shirts. Even even if you're not the best kind of artist, like I can't draw for the life of me, but it's really important to kind of flesh out your ideas, because even if you're a graphic designer or if you're going to work with a graphic designer, the best step is like visualizing what you're looking to create, even if you've kind of created descriptions of what that is, so you can best visualize that final concept. Immediately, as a bit of a concept that, you know, it might be overdone, but I think we could do, and again, mind the drawing, would be, I think of coffee and I think of like spilled coffee all the time. So maybe a matter of just like, this is spilled coffee, and trying to think about, you know, the brand name and stuff. Like
you could even put it in the spill.
Yeah, in the spill, like LOFT, or it could even be, you know, a branded mug as well, right?
Yeah.
On the actual mug.
A really cool concept that I saw like on Pinterest was these divers into a wine glass, and we could like have a similar idea where we have this coffee cup and we have like a number of divers like going in like this. It could be cool.
Depends on the figures.
Because it's more symbolic of the idea of like, let's dive into community. Let's dive into this like...
Nice.
Yeah, something like that.
I like the idea, and again, let's excuse my terrible drawing ability, but this is going to be a table, right? The best table you'll ever see in your life. Coffee, maybe a flower or something, right? But pretty much drawing on that character, you were saying you weren't quite sure, but I think having 2 chairs, you know, someone at a cafe and 2 people ready to meet is that community nature that we're looking to create.
That's a really cool idea. Even like you could look at that from another angle. What if you just got like the front of the cafe just to set the scene and kind of let the viewers like fill in the blanks? So you could have like
similar to just that, right?
Yeah, basically you could just have like cafe, signage.
I really like actually just building off this. If the door is open,
that's sick,
because everyone's welcome, everyone's invited.
This is a really strong start. It's enough that a designer would be able to see this, and then paired with
reference images to
the
make
references.
Could do a loom or something.
Yeah, they could do a lot with this, and so I reckon we send these off.
I think we forgot a banger. Coffee art.
Oh yes,
that's bird's eye view with, you know, our brand name somewhere in the coffee art with the milk. Or
what happened next changes everything for small brand owners, because the people told us exactly which design they wanted to buy. But before we reveal that, I'm going to show you the 4 steps to run your own tests and guarantee winning products every time. And it starts with step 1, create 10 design variations. Most brand owners will simply create a design they like, put it on a t-shirt, then share it to the world. But it's only when no one buys it that they realize their judgment was clouded by the effort they put into making the product itself. In other words, when we put a lot of time into something, we want to feel like that was time well spent. So we end up appreciating the design more than what it's worth. But when it comes to designing winning products, volume negates luck. Instead of hoping you create a masterpiece on the first try, I want you to create at least 10 designs you'd be happy putting out into the world and releasing. And that leads us to step 2, gather data. There's a famous quote that says, numbers don't lie. And as it turns out, you can quantify how good one design is over another in the eyes of your target audience. And here's how. You're going to choose your favorite 3 to 5 designs of the original 10 and share them with real people to vote on their favorite. Firstly, I just used my personal Instagram account. I had 500 odd followers. I made a story sharing the images and used the built-in poll feature with numbers attributed to each design. And you can do the same. You don't need lots of followers, and they don't even have to be interested in fashion, but they should at least vaguely resemble your target audience in the age in interest. After 24 hours, check your story again and gather the data. But we weren't done yet. To ensure we had the most accurate results, we collected even more data from family and friends in person, and here's how. Print out your favorite 5 designs or keep them on your camera roll, and anytime you're with one of your friends, ask them for their favorite. It's here that we not only recorded more data, but also got some real feedback about our designs. Polls give a simple this or that answer, but the truth is that your customers could be picking picking from bad or worse. Having in-person conversations, however, actually leads us to change certain aspects of some designs and create combined variations. It's better feedback. And finally, we shared our designs with thousands of other brand owners to get their opinion. But how do you do that, you ask? Well, it's rather convenient because I created something called the Superfan Club, a free online community for clothing brand owners. Not only do you get free resources to help you grow a community for your brand, but also you're surrounded by hundreds of others working on their own clothing brands. Just check this out. I made a post to our members and it got 42 votes and 17 comments. And you can easily do the same using our platform's built-in poll feature. Even Zochi, that only started engaging last week, has already gotten a bunch of feedback on his hoodie, so he's ready for a sellout too. Yo, what do you think of the community, Zochi? Hey bro, community is solid. Great feedback and overall people are just cool and helpful. Love it. Well, you heard it here first, folks. So all you have to do is click the first link in the description below to join now for free. And by combining these 3 different testing methods, we have enough data to move on to step 3, where we pick a winner. By this point, all the hard work has been done, and after reviewing all your data, you can choose a design to sell with the confidence that your customers will buy. And now it's time to put this design on a t-shirt. We pulled this off in 36 hours.
It's probably even a bit like less than 36, to be honest.
It's madness.
Let's call it 30.
30. Monday, we had 0 designs, no blanks, no printers. The most was about a mood board with some initial concepts.
Yeah.
So I have this buddy in Melbourne. His name's Chris. I call up Chris and I'm like, bro, come Wednesday night, we need products in hand. We haven't even got designs yet. Is this possible? And Chris says to me, well, technically, naturally speaking, absolutely not. But this is what Chris says to me. He goes, but look, Elijah, we're going to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah, which we love. And I remember Elijah calling me like, Chris is able to clutch up for us. Like, we can do this, but we need designs to him essentially in the next 24 hours. And reach out to my really good primary school friend, Ben. Shout out to my friend Ben, House of Orange. We basically gave him 10 different concepts. We probably gave it to him on Tuesday morning at this point. And we were like, can these be done today, essentially?
And then it brings us to Tuesday.
So we ordered the blanks Tuesday at 8:34 a.m. So Elijah's rolled out of bed and just pretty much hustled and gone, this is what's happening. Chris, make it happen. And Chris made it happen. And then it was a matter of us coming together Tuesday morning, and we submitted our design concepts we wanted illustrated by Ben at 2:20 p.m. on Tuesday, in which I was asleep for this, but Ben submitted his sketches to us at 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday night.
As soon as I saw these concepts, I screenshotted my top 5 favorites. I put out an Instagram story. This was the initial testing we were going to do to then go on and determine which one we were going to pick.
It was pretty clear to us that there was 3 top designs, and that was submitted at 8 a.m. for Ben to digitize them.
And then once we got those digitized versions of that top 3, I then put out a second poll on the Superfan free community, which is such a fantastic space for any brand owner who's trying to get feedback on products and says, I don't have an audience to test on, or I don't even have people around me that give me good enough opinions on my products. There's no excuse.
Target customer.
Yeah, there's no excuse because any brand owner can join Superfan free. It's in the name. It's free. Put out a post, leave some screenshots of your designs or some photos, ask for feedback.
Cool building point. Hey.
Exactly. And I got, I think, 27 odd votes, which was enough to just see which of those top 3 designs we had picked was going to be our winner.
We submitted it to Ben at 8 a.m. to get digitized. He whipped these up and submitted the graphic at 9:15 a.m. We've got from no data to digitizing to, finalized graphics in a 2-hour time frame. 9:15 we had already had the front graphics digitized. Till about 10:45 I basically had to create as many color mock-ups of the design itself. We knew the blanks we were using.
Meanwhile, I've just printed out our little graphic design in like a real life size, and I luckily enough had some color plane blanks at home, so I could cut it out. I can put it on a t-shirt and just measure it and see how it looks.
So from 8 a.m. to 1:28 p.m. in that 5-hour span, we've gone from handwritten sketch to finalized mock-up and tech pack.
I think it was a wonderful reflection to really go, we've made something something beautiful that we're passionate about, and it's actually freaking worked.
Yeah.
In 30 odd hours.
If you're watching starting a brand, having the ability to open yourself up to connect with like-minded people is something you'll never regret if you give this a crack.
Thursday. So you came up to Brisbane, you landed,
yeah.
and then revealed these masterpieces. We've got this wonderful graphic designed by Ben here on the front, and then we've got Ben's very handwriting on the back. It says accidentally tradition, which I think ties in beautifully with the brand as these third spaces, these third homes, these communities that people are building.
And things that aren't perfect.
Things that aren't perfect, hence handwritten.
But so many people manufacture overseas, and I think storytelling of a garment, like a lot of people's creativity when doing clothing is now like panel setups.
Yes.
You know what I mean? As their distinguishing selling piece, which is great. And some are awesome. I'm not denying that. But the storytelling aspect can sometimes get lost within that as well.
Because their designs are so cool, they're almost too cool for their own
It'd
good.
be too complicated otherwise, right? Like if you're trying to do too much. So like it's not a shade on brand owners at all.
Now you've seen how we create a product that people actually want based on facts and figures. But if you don't build an audience first, you won't have anyone to sell it to. So watch part 2 of Casper and I creating this brand, where we'll show you how to build an audience before releasing so you don't end up selling to your mum. And I know your mum is great, but click the video on screen now because we'd all rather sell to strangers.